After decades of rumors, sightings, and testimonies from credible military officials, the U.S. government's latest report on unidentified aerial phenomena claims there's nothing otherworldly going on. But with Congress and the public raising questions, has the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, truly provided answers, or just more reason to doubt? In February 2024, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office released a report detailing its findings on the unidentified aerial phenomena as mandated by Congress. This report was intended to be the most comprehensive, transparent account of the U.S. government's involvement with and knowledge of UAPs since 1945. However, many Americans, as well as members of Congress, believe this document is yet another attempt by the government to obfuscate the truth about extraterrestrial encounters. The report covers decades of investigations, from Project Blue Book in the 1950s to more recent inquiries, concluding that none of the unidentified phenomena documented represented extraterrestrial technology. AARO insists that nearly all reported sightings were either misinterpretations, equipment malfunctions, or classified domestic projects. But to skeptics, this assertion is hard to accept given the multitude of credible accounts from military and intelligence officials who have testified otherwise. If we're to believe those testimonies, at least 5 types of extraterrestrials have interacted with humanity, a fact that AARO and the U.S. government continue to downplay. Historically, the U.S. government has managed many projects investigating UAPs. Projects such as Blue Book, Grudge, and Twinkle, for instance, aim to understand these phenomena in relation to national security. The findings of these projects consistently concluded that no UAP posed a threat, let alone extraterrestrial origins. AARO's report adopts a similar tone, affirming that not a single UAP sighting reviewed over the decades indicated alien technology. This is not a new refrain. AARO's findings echo statements from reports dating back to the 1950s and 1960s, despite the ever-growing body of witness accounts from credible individuals, former CIA officers, military personnel, and government contractors, asserting first-hand experience with non-human technology. Many of these individuals claim to have seen or worked with alien materials, and some even describe full-bodied extraterrestrials. In one case, a former military officer even described touching what he believed to be an extraterrestrial craft, only to later be dismissed by AARO as mistaking it for a stealth fighter. To skeptics, such denials reflect a deliberate agenda to downplay potentially paradigm-shifting knowledge. For years, certain individuals within military and intelligence circles have spoken out about extraterrestrial species interacting with humanity. While these encounters remain publicly unconfirmed by the U.S. government, they are widely discussed and considered plausible by many. Linda Moulton Howe, a credible investigative journalist and UFO researcher, has extensively explored various extraterrestrial species through her Earth Files podcast and reporting. Based on her investigations and interviews, she frequently discusses the following types of extraterrestrials, which match those reported by members of the public. The first is greys. The description is of small beings, typically 3 to 5 feet tall, with large heads, black almond-shaped eyes, thin bodies, and gray skin. Interactions are often associated with abduction narratives and genetic experimentation. In an interview with a German investigator, Howe notes that the greys may have a role in overseeing or guiding human development. Number 2 is the Nordics. Their description is of tall, human-like beings with blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin, resembling Scandinavian humans. Interactions are generally depicted as benevolent, often providing guidance or warnings to humanity. In her podcast, Howe discusses encounters where Nordics are seen as allies, inhabiting star systems like Procyon A and B and Sirius A and B. Apologies if I butchered the names. The third is tall whites. Their description is of extremely tall beings with pale white skin and large blue eyes. Interactions reportedly involved in predicting significant events on Earth. Howe references predictions from the tall whites about a big event involving conflicts between alien races on Earth. Number 4 is reptilians. The description given is of tall lizard-like beings with reptilian features, interactions often portrayed as manipulative with alleged involvement in covert control of human institutions. How discusses claims that reptilians provided technical knowledge to Nazis during World War II and have been using Earth for thousands of years. Number 5 is Trantiloids. Their description is of beings with mantis-like features, including elongated limbs and large insectoid eyes. Interactions described as highly advanced and potentially hostile. In an interview with remote viewer Buddy Bolton, Howe notes that Trantiloids are often sociopaths of the extraterrestrial world, indicating a lack of empathy and possible threat to humanity. According to whistleblowers, these beings have specific agendas, most benevolent, others allegedly nefarious. The public demand for transparency grows each time the government dismisses such claims without rigorous investigation. Congress, representing the growing public discontent with evasive responses on the UAP phenomenon, has been pushing for transparency. Several members have voiced frustration with AARO's findings. They believe the government's consistent, nothing to see here stance is insufficient and does not account for the extensive testimonies and evidence suggesting otherwise. In recent hearings, Congress has expressed its dissatisfaction with the Department of Defense's explanations, calling for full disclosure and greater access to classified information related to UAPs. The pressure from Congress led to AARO's formation in the first place, but this report appears to have done little to build trust. In response to AARO's claims, some representatives have publicly acknowledged their belief that the government is concealing information about UAPs. This sentiment is fueled by reports from other countries where officials are beginning to take extraterrestrial encounters seriously, and even confirm some in the U.S. accounts that AARO has dismissed. The American public has been increasingly interested in UAPs, spurred by recent media coverage, documentaries, and statements from prominent figures within the government who believe in extraterrestrial contact. AARO's report, rather than quelling public curiosity, seems to have intensified the belief that the government is actively covering up the truth. AARO suggests that the public's interest in UAP stems from misinformation and the influence of popular media. The report downplays several high-profile incidents where military pilots encountered objects exhibiting characteristics beyond known human technology. These incidents, AARO contends, can all be explained as quote-unquote misinterpretations, weather phenomena, or technical malfunctions. But many see this approach as dismissive and indicative of a pre-existing bias against investigating the possibility of extraterrestrial involvement. AARO's report states that all U.S. government investigations into UAPs to date have shown no evidence of extraterrestrial technology. AARO's investigations, it claims, were conducted with the utmost scientific rigor, and the findings were based solely on empirical evidence. Yet many argue that AARO's refusal to even entertain the possibility of alien technology amounts to a disregard for genuine, unexplainable sightings and credible witness accounts. One striking example from the report discusses a supposed extraterrestrial material recovered from a crash site, which, upon further analysis, was deemed a manufactured terrestrial alloy. Yet, in this case and others, the public and some officials believe that the government's analysis is either deliberately misleading or incomplete. AARO's consistent assertions that all UAP phenomena can be explained as a conventional object seems incongruous with the abundance of sightings that remain unexplained. Before I get into the last segment, if you have any experiences with ETs or you've done research in this area of parapsychology, please reach out to me because I'd love to hear your story. The AARO report may have been intended to provide a sense of closure to the public, but it appears to have done the opposite. The belief that extraterrestrials are already among us and that the government is actively hiding the truth is now stronger than ever. The public, alongside congressional leaders, is calling for more transparency and independent investigation into AARO's findings. The demand for full disclosure continues, with many citizens hoping for a report that genuinely investigates, without bias, the possibility that some UAPs may be extraterrestrial. As AARO prepares to release Volume 2 of its findings, the public and Congress will be watching closely, waiting to see whether this upcoming report addresses the doubts and unanswered questions surrounding extraterrestrial encounters. Only time will tell if the truth will finally be revealed. But for now, AARO's report has done little to diminish the widespread belief that there is more to these unexplained phenomena than the government is willing to admit. If you have generously taken time out of your day to watch this video, thank you. As stated in my last video, though I work for the federal government, this channel stems from my own interest in parapsychology. Please understand I am not a conspiracy theorist, nor does this channel represent my work within the federal government. This channel is intended to be a safe space for curious minds to discuss the taboo nature of parapsychology in an open-minded manner. So if you're interested in sharing your professional works, personal experiences with psychic abilities, or research, please feel free to reach out to me on WhatsApp. My contact information is in the description box below. And if you want to watch more videos about parapsychology, be sure to click the links on the screen.